Well, hello and welcome to another episode. My name is Jay Connor, known as the Private Money Authority, and we're just so excited to have you joining us here on the show. If you're, not new to the show, I have amazing guests come on here and join me, and today is no exception whatsoever. So this dynamic couple that I'm going to be interviewing here today, in just a few short years, they have made millions of dollars in real estate by buying, renovating, flipping, and even wholesaling houses. But they've also strategically built long term wealth by also buying and holding properties for rentals as well. Well, one of the most exciting things that they've got going on is just recently their brand new TV show, which is called 50/50 Flip. It's on A&E. It is just going gangbusters. So this show follows my guest on the TV show as they renovate and they flip 10 single and multifamily homes, each one for under $50,000, and it's all done in under 50 days. Now, let me tell you what's different about this show. This is actually real estate that they are showing you, and the real business that they're doing. Now, another specialty and expertise that this couple has is securing funding. And of course, you all know private money is my favorite subject. So we'll be able to talk about that as well here on the show. So in addition to that, my dynamic couple and guest, their goal really is to lift communities through home renovation and building generational wealth. Listen to this. In just a short 3-year period, they went from owning only 3 properties to over 60 rental units valued at over $5 million. Well, they're also passionate about giving back, always popular on the speaking circuit. They've shared their vast real estate knowledge at over 50 seminars and business events nationwide. You can also follow them on their YouTube channel. With that, welcome to the show, my good friends, Krystal and Dedric Polite. How in the world are you all doing?
We're doing great, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And I tell you, I remember earlier this year, we had the pleasure of meeting each other at a conference down there in Tampa, and I just fell in love with you two and your story and all that, and I just couldn't wait to get you here on the show. So first, let's start out. I want to hear the story of how you all met, how long you've been together, and how you got started in real estate.
Wow, how we met. So that's an interesting story. We met living in Boston, Massachusetts back in 2009. You want to kind of tell the story of how we met?
Well, we met at a glamorous location. It was a gas station. And I believe Pump 6 it might have been. But I pulled in to get gas. He was already there. Got out my car to pump my gas, and he came over, tried to holler at me,
Oh, no, I gave him my business card, introduced myself.
Yep, and I gave him my business card.
And that was the start of a beautiful relationship.
Literally. We've been in, I think our very first business venture together was real estate. We were 2 months in dating. We started to do Airbnb. So that was our first time getting into real estate. That was 2012?
Yep, 2012.
2012. We started off with Airbnb. And my husband, Dedric, has always wanted to get into real estate. And that's what he would talk about when I first met him, and had all the books and the CDs and VHSs, DVDs, everything was on real estate. So from there we ended up.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Now.
From there we actually ended up, me saying, hey, listen, instead of you just talking about it, let's do it. I'm tired of hearing about you wanting to get in real estate. Let's actually get into it. So that's how we ended up starting 2017
is when we really started going really hard at building a real estate business.
Right. Well, and I was going to ask that question. I was going to ask if either one of you had already been into real estate investing prior to being together as a couple. But it sounds like you all started this like together, right?
Yeah. I mean, I bought my first house in 2007 when I was 25 years old. I did what's now known as house hacking, where I bought a triplex in Boston, 100% financed. It was 2007, right before the crash. I lived in a ground floor apartment and I rented out the top 2 floors, and that paid most of my mortgage. But then I went back to working my corporate job. I was making good money in corporate America, had a company card, a company credit card, all that stuff. But I always had that itch to be an entrepreneur, and I always had a passion for real estate. So fast forward 10 years later, my wife kind of pushed me off the ledge and said, hey, let's start talking about this and let's actually do it. And here we are today.
That's awesome. So we know who's the brains of this outfit, right?
Right. Right.
So Dedric, well, let's let ladies go first. Krystal, you two married couple in business together. That's the same for me. You met my wife as well, Carol Joy,
Yes.
and when we were at the conference. So we're in business together. We started in real estate investing together back in 2003. But as a married couple, it comes with its own challenges of defining, okay, who's going to be in charge of what, and what's the other, spouse, business partner going to be in charge of. So, Krystal, what do you focus on in the business and oversee? And Dedric, if you'd answer the same question after Krystal.
Yeah. So in the business, I focus on, and what I like to tell people is where you started is not going to be where you end up in your business, right? So what you start off doing will definitely not be what you end up doing. So even when we first started off, I was really just learning the business. So I was doing a little bit of everything, right? And then we went to some masterminds, and we learned that I had to drill down on one specific area for me to focus on. At the time, we were both still working full-time jobs. Then I went into the business full-time, and he still had a W-2. So I said, okay, I'm going to take the biggest part of the business off his plate so he doesn't have to focus on that. And that was the marketing. So I started and I took over the marketing side of our business. I still handle our marketing till this day. I do have people under me now, so I'm kind of overseeing, but I've already put everything into place. And then I handle different aspects because, as you know, in our business have grown. So I handle our brand management. I also handle a lot of the business practices as far as operations for our business. So I basically, those are my areas in the business.
Yeah, my areas.
Now, when you say that, I'm just going to ask Krystal real quick to give us a definition when you say marketing. So are you talking about marketing and looking for properties to invest in?
Yes. So I handle all the lead gen for our business.
Motivated seller marketing.
All the motivated seller marketing.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute, and I want to drill down on that a little bit. So go ahead, Dedric.
Yeah, so in the business, I handle all the sales, also known as acquisitions. So my job is to get properties under contract. I also handle finance. So whether it be us paying cash or us using hard money or private money. So I work with all of our investors. I also handle our social media. So we have over 200,000 followers on social media. So I do all the posting on our social media channels. So those are the main areas that I handle. I'm sure there's more, but it's the ones that come to mind.
I got you. So let's come back to you, Krystal, on finding motivated sellers. So you're in charge of that piece of the business. Well, in today's market, in most places, it has become more of a challenge to find motivated sellers. I mean, you're not going to find any properties in the multiple listing service.
Right.
There's no inventory out there.
Right.
So like all the deals that we find, they're all what we call off market. They're not on the real estate market. They're not in the multiple listing service. So, here locally, we have 8 different ways every day that we're consistently marketing to and reaching out to potentially motivated sellers. With that being the case, in today's market, Krystal, what are your best ways of locating motivated sellers, and what's working best for you?
Great question. So we've literally tried everything. So if you
We probably tried 18 ways.
right, if
to
you can
800.
think of it, we've done it from the abandoned sign to the abandoned signs on wheels to
Car
like
decals.
door knocking, like if you name it, we've tried it. So I've really done a lot of market research for our backyard and just our areas of interest on what is really working. So for us, what works the best and what we do heavy and what I invest in the most is cold calling, direct mail, and text messaging. Those 3 are our best forms of marketing for our areas. Now, of course, they are all still done a little differently depending on what zip code I may be marketing to, right? Because we're in North Carolina. So I tell people the same way, excuse me, I would market to Greensboro, I'm not going to market to Charlotte. The same way I market to Charlotte, I'm not going to market to Burlington. Or what have you. So just depending on where you live, and it could be different zip codes in the same state, right? We are also in the Boston market. Boston is like a New York, right? So I can't market the same way to Boston that I would a smaller town like where we live. So those are the marketing methods that really work the most for us.
That's fantastic. Now, Dedric, I know one of your specialties and expertise is securing funding for your projects. Not that both of you are not involved in that, but Dedric, I think you've sort of focused on that. And of
Yes.
course, as I said at the beginning, private money is my favorite subject to talk about. So why don't you go over what is the way or the different ways that you have secured funding for your projects?
Yes, sir, Jay. So private money has been a game changer for us. It's allowed us to go from doing 1 rehab at a time to doing 5 at the same time, right? And that's how we were able to do a television show where we rehab 10 properties all at once. So it's literally been a game changer. How have we found private money investors? A lot of it has been through documenting our process. So literally showing a lot of it through social media, sharing how we buy properties, how we find motivated sellers, our rehab process, our investment process. And by the process of sharing that on social media, people getting familiar with us and how we do business, and then reaching out to us saying, hey, I noticed that you guys are consistently getting properties at 50, 60 cents on the dollar. You're forcing the appreciation up and you're creating equity in these properties. I would like to be a part of those deals. So we have a ton of investors that have reached out and created win-win scenarios where they can invest passively in our deals and we can do more deals at the same time.
Well, that's fantastic because I do it the same way. I teach it the same way. We're not chasing, we're not begging, we're not selling. We're actually attracting private lenders, individuals to, they're wanting to work with us. They're wanting to get a high, a good rate of return safely and securely. And Krystal and Dedric, if you don't mind me pausing here in the interview for like 20 seconds, I want to give away a gift real quick to all of our viewers and listeners on this subject of private money. I just finished writing, this is since I saw you all, I just finished writing this brand new money guide. It's called The 7 Reasons Why Private Money Will Skyrocket Your Real Estate Business and Help You Build Incredible Wealth. And anybody that's interested in getting started on private money very, very quickly, then you can go to the website jayconner.com/money guide. That's MONEYGUIDE, jayconner.com/money guide. And you can download this for free, and get you started on the fast track. So I'm like you all, Krystal and Dedric. I mean, private money.
Yes.
The first 6 years I was in the business, from 2003 to 2009, I just relied on local banks, right? And then I lost my lines of credit like every other real estate investor, in the nation. And so I sort of backed in to learning about private money and what it is. And of course, when we talk about private money, we're not talking about banks. We're not talking about institutions. We're talking about doing business, with individuals. So now, Dedric, you've also had some experience in syndication, right?
No, we haven't done any syndications per se, but we are getting into that.
Got you. So you're starting that. Well, and I've never done syndication myself. Typically syndication is used when you're going to have like larger projects to do.
Right.
But you all are probably doing it like the same as I am in real estate investing in houses. We call them one-offs. So, you've got a house and then you've got a private lender or a couple of private lenders that are funding that project.
Right.
And we give them, security, it's the real estate they were purchasing that's backing that note and protecting them. Are you all doing that the same way?
Absolutely. We do the exact same thing. On the syndication and the larger deals, we are getting into doing larger commercial properties. For example, we bought a 37 lot mobile home park in Mebane, North Carolina, 37 lots, 2 single family homes, a duplex, and a commercial storefront. But the amazing thing about that deal is we bought it for 800,000, but we actually got paid to buy that property. So
No,
how
you gotta tell what that means. How did you get paid to buy that property? I think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
Yeah, we got paid to buy it. So the seller had been offered multiple times over $1 million for the property. We'd established a relationship with this particular seller over the years. He ended up selling us his whole portfolio, and he owner financed this property to us. It was owned free and clear. It was a cash cow for many years. It had taken a dip due to COVID, so rent collections were down. The seller was, ready to retire. So literally, it was 800,000 purchase price, a $10,000 down payment. He agreed to hold a note for 790,000. Payments of $2,000 a month, principal only for 8 years. And after we got to the closing table and did the rent credits and the security deposit credits and what have you, we ended up getting a check back for $3,300 when we bought that $1 million mobile home park.
I
It's a
love
beautiful
it.
thing
I
about real
love it.
estate.
Well, and so you used owner financing or seller financing on that.
Yes.
I didn't know where you were going to go, but of course you all are probably like me. Whenever you use private money to invest in a property, I also get paid when I do those deals because we get the purchase price, we get the rehab up front if there is any rehab, and of course, depending on how much of a discount that we bought that house at, we can also borrow some money for marketing, carrying costs, et cetera. So in the world of private money, we get paid as well.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the syndication word there, Dedric. Explain to everybody what's the difference between doing business with private lenders, individuals, and doing these one-offs where a private lender is funding a particular property versus syndication.
Yeah, syndication is you're really pooling multiple investors' money. Typically, you're creating a new entity for that money to go into to buy, let's say, an apartment building, or let's say to buy a package of mobile home parks. So, of course, there's regulations around that. There's paperwork you have to follow. My understanding is that it's 30 to 50 grand just to set up the paperwork to do syndications properly. But that is something on our roadmap is buying larger apartment buildings and buying bulk packages of mobile home parks. So that's something we'll be doing in the next couple of years here.
That's awesome. Now, how did you convince, or maybe there wasn't any convincing to it? How did you get the seller of that mobile home park to agree for you to make principal only payments with zero interest? That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was based off the relationship and trust. This gentleman, when we met him, he's in his 90s. He had about 60 units that he owned. And he literally said, "Hey, I'm looking to retire. I'm 90 something. I want to just go to the casino and enjoy myself. I don't want to deal with tenants and toilets anymore." And we had bought and sold multiple properties of his problem properties for him over the years. And he knew that we were people that do what we say we're going to do. So he trusts us. So that's what that deal was based off of.
Gotcha. Let's go back to private money for a second. And, both of you can answer this. What would you say to a real estate investor that has never raised private money before, but they want to raise private money? They want to fund some deals with private money. What's your advice on how for them to start?
So my advice would be start letting people know what you do, right? The moment you start letting people know that you are into real estate, you are a real estate investor. Hey, this is what I do. I'm a real estate investor. I flip houses. I buy rental properties, whatever it is. The moment you start letting people know what you do and you're documenting what you do, say like on social media, and you start to document it, people start to now believe in what you're doing. They start to believe in you, right? And now they're seeing that proof of concept where, hey, he actually is on there flipping houses, or what have you. But people won't know unless you actually let them know, right? So when I first got into real estate, at a certain point, even when we were working our 9 to 5, people be like, hey, come up to us, hey, what do you guys do? Or I'd be at the grocery store and just spark a conversation with someone. They'd be like, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a real estate investor. Even though I had a whole 9 to 5, but that's not what I wanted to be known for at that point. It was, hey, my business is I'm a real estate investor. Oh, really? Well, what do you do? And then we go into it from there. So my advice would definitely be to tell people what you do and start documenting it.
So, Krystal, can you dive a little deeper and give some advice on when it comes to posting on social media? Bless you. When it comes to posting on social media, what
Yes.
advice can you give on if someone is, they're doing deals and want to, document that on social media? What advice would you give about that?
I would say, so it's funny because when we first started documenting our journey, I wanted no parts of it.
She doesn't like posting on, so she's private. She like lurks in the background. I'm the one who does all the posting and sharing on social media.
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe I should let Dedric answer the question.
Right. No, but it's interesting that you asked that question because it wasn't until we were in a mastermind, our very first mastermind, and Dedric he was like, hey, listen, I need, I want to raise more private money, things of that nature. And a person inside the mastermind was like, hey, listen, start documenting what you guys are doing. He was like, take your phone out, start videotaping every time you go into the houses. He said, because you're actually doing the work behind the scenes, you're doing this already. It's not like some of us who aren't really doing it anymore. He was like, yo, you guys do this every single day. Just document it, put it on social media. And he told Dedric, and I guarantee you in a year, you will have no problem with finding private investors. And I was like, I don't really want to be on social media.
Want to know parts of it. So I literally, I was skeptical as well, but I started doing it. Literally with this iPhone here, I started documenting, doing walkthroughs, meeting with contractors. Man, look at how trash this house is. Then once we buy it, I document the renovation process and all the challenges we go through and what you have to overcome. And then I would show the finished product. And then, like you said, after a year or two of doing that, I had people emailing us and DMing us like, hey, I see what you've been doing. I want to invest. Let's have coffee.
Yep.
It was as simple as that.
That's fantastic. Now, while I'm thinking about it, how can people follow you on your social media and see the kind of posts you're doing?
Sure. So they can follow us, all things Be Polite. Our company's called Be Polite Properties. They can also just look up Dedric and Krystal Polite on Facebook, Dedric Polite, Krystal Polite, Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel, Be Polite Properties on YouTube. In addition to that, of course, we have a nationally televised TV show called 50/50 Flip. So if you want to check out the TV show, it's available on demand on A&E Network. So if you just go to A&E, type in 50/50 Flip, it'll show all 6 episodes of our first season. So those are some ways folks can find us. And of course, our website, politeproperties.com.
Yeah, and just to make sure that it's understood, that's www.polite, just like the word, P as in Paul, OLITE, properties.com. And I love your YouTube channel handle. It's like youtube.com/be polite. I love it.
Polite. Thank you. Our motto is, it costs you nothing to be polite.
I love it. I love it. So, so the videos that you have on social media, is it all videos, or do you just have some pictures as well?
Oh yeah, we mix in pictures with video, but video, as you know, Jay, is powerful. That's why you have a podcast and you also have a videotape. It's powerful. People get to know you and see you on a more personal level when they can watch that video.
Absolutely. And so do you have like a team of videographers, or how do you make the videos?
Yeah, we do a lot with our iPhone, but we actually have one of our videographers in the office doing some taping today.
Yep. So we've had a videographer that we've been with since literally since our very first 2017, I believe it was, who's been with us everywhere we went, just documenting what we've been doing. So
now, did I hear you all say you got over 200,000 followers on social media?
Yeah, combined across all our social media, about 200,000.
Well, here's the question. How do you get 200,000 followers on social media?
Well, again, it was literally posting, right, and sharing what we're doing. I call it not being a secret agent, right? A lot of times people start a business and they don't want to tell people what they're doing for whatever reason. Like Krystal said, when someone asks you what you do, you could be a nurse or you could be an engineer in your day job, but your goal is to become a full-time real estate investor. Hey, what do you do? Well, I'm a real estate investor, right? My goal is to do 10 flips this year. My goal is to buy 5 rental properties this year. I'm a real estate investor. So start telling people what you do and start documenting that. And the social media algorithm, they recognize the more you post, the more they're going to push your content out to more people. So it's really kind of like a flywheel. You can start going from posting valuable content that's going to help you get seen and get noticed by more people.
About how long is each video that you post?
So YouTube videos anywhere from like 5 to 15 minutes, but Instagram, Facebook videos are 1-2 minutes. They don't have to be super long.
Yep.
1-2 minutes or less.
I got you. So it sounds like to get a lot of followers and a lot of private money starting to chase you, consistency on posting is very important, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Consistency with everything you do in your business, whether it's marketing, posting on social media, consistency.
How often do you post on social media?
We're posting every single day, multiple times a day to multiple different channels.
Now there's the secret right there.
Yep.
So for example, this month we'll have like 50 pieces of content going out on social media.
Holy moly guacamole. I mean, that's like multiple times per day. And I guess, people just naturally start sharing it, right?
Yep.
Particularly when you're giving value. So let me change gears a little bit here. So y'all been doing this, for a few years. And so I can't wait to hear your answer on this. Krystal, you answer first. Dedric, you go after Krystal. Here's the question. If you knew what you know now, when you started out real estate investing, what would you have done different?
I would have started sooner. I would have started much, much sooner. That's why I'm an advocate for high school senior on up to start learning about real estate. And a lot of people be like, hey, look, when I was in my 20s and or 30s and they want to get into real estate, and I'm looking at 18 and 19-year-olds and I'm like, hey, listen, perfect time to start learning about real estate and the power of it. And we've helped and mentored 18-year-olds in real estate and close their first deal, and they weren't even old enough to sign the contract. So I would love it. Definitely started sooner.
Awesome. Dedric?
Yeah. That is a good question. I would have actually raised private money sooner, and I would have started doing flips sooner. So we started out wholesaling houses in order to generate capital to buy rental properties. That's our end game, is to build a massive portfolio of rentals. I was a little nervous at the start, like, man, flipping a house is like, that's a risk, right? Now we flip houses and make 50 to 100 grand easy on each house flip. but overcoming that fear sooner and jumping into flipping and raising private money sooner.
Awesome. Well, it has been fantastic having you here on the show. You all are such an inspiration. You got an amazing story. Congratulations on the launch of your new television show on A&E, which is called 50/50 Flip. So, so if you're listening, be sure and go to A&E and search for their show and check that out. So final comments, Krystal and Dedric, any final advice or thoughts you'd like to say before we call this show a wrap? Krystal, then Dedric.
I would say, for my final thought, I would definitely say no more analysis paralysis, right? A lot of people like to sit on the sidelines and overthink the whole real estate process, right? They want everything to be perfect. And I know because I'm a perfectionist. But I'm the person who I'm going to jump first and then grow wings on the way down. So I would say no more analysis paralysis, no more sitting on the sidelines. Learn this business while you're doing it. Everything that we did, we learned it as we were doing it. At this point, we were no longer just saying, hey, let's learn for the next 5 years and then jump in. No, we learned it as we were doing it. So that would be my best advice to anyone. Jump in and get off the sidelines.
Yeah, my advice, two things. It's invest in mentorship or coaching, whether it's from someone like Jay, who's amazing, or someone like ourselves. Invest in mentorship and coaching. And then once you do that, take action. So that's what we did. We invest in mastermind groups. We hired coaches, mentors. Before we even closed our first deal and made any money, we were investing tens of thousands of dollars into our education and into relationships from people who had already done it and learning from those people who had been where we want to go. And then once we did that, we were like, hey, we got to get a return on some of this investment. So we're like, we got to take action now. So we started taking massive imperfect action, right? Did we mess up a lot of times in the beginning? Yes. Did we make mistakes? Yes, but we kept moving forward. So that would be my advice to everyone.
That is fantastic advice, and I agree with you 100%. Well, Krystal and Dedric, thank you so much for joining me here on the show.
Thank you, Jay, so much for having us.
And we appreciate your time. Thanks for allowing us onto your platform.
Absolutely. And just one more time as to how people can connect with you. Tell them your website one more time.
Yep. So our website is politeproperties.com. You can send us a message through there, email us, and we look forward to connecting with you.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Krystal, Dedric. God bless you.
Thank you,
God
Jay.
bless.
All right. Well, there you have it. Another episode of this show. I've been so excited to have everyone tuning in. I'm Jay Connor, the Private Money Authority, wishing you all the best. Here's to taking your real estate investing business to the next level. And we'll see you right here on the next show. All right. So, Dedric, did we lose Krystal as well?
Yeah, she's here. She had to grab it.
Yeah. So we're still live on YouTube. We're still live, and raw is real on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going to record a additional intro, since I know what we really dove in here on today. But before I let you go, and Sharub, I'll record that. I'll do it while I'm here. Anyway, but what's the show been doing for you so far? Have you seen anything come from that?
Absolutely.
Have we?
It's been amazing. I mean, we have people literally calling us saying, I saw you on TV. I want to do business with you. I either want to sell you my house. I want to be a private investor.
I want to do just deals all over the United States. Like, we have a huge thing that we're working on now in Virginia with development deals. It has been crazy.
But I knew it was going to blow you up, and of course you probably knew it as well. But I am just so excited for you with all the success you are now enjoying And I know you all are go-givers. I know you're giving back a lot. So it's just wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, that's important.
All right. So Sharub, I am now going to do a new little intro that you and Scott can sort of weave in. So here comes the intro in 3, 2, 1. On my lands, folks, talk about the guest that I have on today's show. This dynamic couple, Mercy, talk about private money. We're going to dive deep into talking about private money because they've raised millions and millions. They've got a brand new TV show on A&E called 50/50 Flip. And in addition to that, one of them is going to talk about their best ways of finding motivated sellers in today's market when it's so hard to find any kind of inventory. And then in addition to that, how about this? They're going to share with us how they have over 200,000 followers on social media. Don't go anywhere. Stay to the end because you are going to be blown away.